As Hazrat Anas RA was being lifted, Allahu Akbar, someone mentioned to his brother, Bara, oh Bara, see what happened to Hazrat Anas. And from wherever he was on that battlefield, he ran towards the wall. He jumped from the ground onto the wall, using it as a springboard, then jumping onto the chain that was heated, with the one hand holding onto the chain and the other hand trying to maneuver this melting hot hook out of his brother's body. And imagine, as he was pulling out the hook out of his brother, that had permeated into his brother's body, his hand was melting. His flesh had actually, got burnt out. He only had skeleton left on his hands, but he managed to pull out the hook from his brother's body and saved his brother. He then jumped down, but he didn't have any flesh left on his brother's hands. But for Hazrat Bara radiallahu anhu, it was worth it, because he rescued his brother Hazrat Anas radiallahu anhu, the great Hazrat Anas, who was the khadim of Janabi Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The amazing part comes later on, subhanallah, when Sahaba continued to siege. Remember Hazrat Anas and Hazrat Bara, as Sahaba were sieging this fortress, after months of effort and many skirmishes, someone from inside sends a letter to Hazrat Abu Musa Ash'ari requesting to meet him. When the letter comes, he says, if you give me amnesty, I trust you Muslims, I want to meet you. He comes out to meet Hazrat Abu Musa Ash'ari radiallahu anhu. He explains the situation, that Hurmuzan has been treacherous to myself and my family. We are from royalty as well, but we do not trust him. We trust the Muslims. If you give me amnesty, I will show you an entry into the city. Hazrat Abu Musa Ash'ari radiallahu anhu then calls Hazrat Majza'a bin Thawr as-Sadusi, saying, Majza'a, what you do is get me one of your men who's very brave and very, very strong with resilience, and I want him to go with this individual who will show us an entry point into the city. So he, Hazrat Majza'a, says, O Amir Sahab, O Governor, O Commander, would you allow me to be that individual who carries out this task? He says, of course. And Hazrat Majza'a then goes. He prepares himself and he goes with this guide underground. They go into this underground tunnel. It was really a difficult tunnel. At times they had to swim, at times they had to crawl, at times there was few tunnels, and he had to actually remember the exact tunnel that will lead him to the entry point, the secret entry into the city. As after difficulty they enter to the drain that allows them and leads them into the city. They come into the city. What was the instruction of the Amir? Remember the route, and the other is decipher who is Hurmuzan. He enters and the guide shows him the person of Hurmuzan. At that point, the thought crosses his mind, why don't I get the job done and end off Hurmuzan there and then? And he was about to take his arrow, but he remembered the instruction of his Amir that don't do more than what I am telling you to do. Just fulfill this task and finish. He leaves his arrow. He now makes his way back, and now he has to gather his men to actually now enter the city together with his men and engage in battle to actually open the front door for the Muslims, so that the door in front of the fortress can allow the Muslims entry. He gathers a large sum of his men and he now gives them guidance on how to enter, how to dress, how they will penetrate through the secret passage into the city.